down to countdown today, so we are.
Are you using my video or just the audio, Pav?
We are fully live. What's that? What's that, Chris?
Are you using my video or just the? Oh my god!
Did you just do something?
We're live on Twitch right now.
Yeah, we're absolutely live. Yeah, 100% live.
I could fucking just start hearing myself talking in my head. I was like, "What is happening to me right now?"
Yes.
Can you just talk for a little bit, Grizz?
Yes. Hello.
Is it coming? Mike cutting out a little bit for you?
Stream?
Mike is cutting out a little bit. Stop.
Is my microphone cutting out a bit when I speak?
You sound perfect, Cap.
What's going on with Grizz's mic?
It might. Surely it's not just because you're recording as well.
Dude, it could be an OBS thing, recording thing, potentially.
Oh,
Stop recording.
Stop recording.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. Shut it down.
I reckon your mic's being capped or some shit.
Mic check. Unstos.
Yeah, that's literally fixed it.
Has it? Okay. There you go.
Okay, sir. No recording for you, sir.
I guess we won't be doing that then, hey?
Yeah, we're on the freaking
it's actually an old
budget budget layout.
We're going back to budget recording.
Going back to the old budget-o.
There it goes. Grizz, your audio sounds perfect again.
Okay, that's good.
So
that's very
that was it.
Pleasing. Okay, that's good to know.
We're trying to fix things, Swark. We've had an ongoing audio issue that we're trying to isolate, and I think we've isolated it to someone in this call right now.
Who is it?
Look, I don't think it's been. I don't think it's been a mystery.
All right, boys, I'm gonna do my own little fucking tweet. So get a little funny face in the camera.
Yeah, get it up.
Oh yes, cat. Love that.
Beautiful. All right.
Yeah. Now that we don't have a countdown, we can just sit here and talk shit for just a little bit, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna start my recording now just to make sure there's no issues on my end as well. But I won't be talking much, so there shouldn't be an issue.
The FPS of my cam seems a bit low, but
yeah, your FPS is not amazing, but your voice sounds good, and that's all I care about.
Which is weird because on my end it looks fine.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
But then Grizz looks fine on your end.
Yeah,
I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
It's a me, Mario. Yeah,
for some reason, my connection with yours on Ninja always is a little bit less quality than Grizz. I don't know why. There shouldn't be any reason about it. That's all I got. I don't know. It's always been good enough to pass.
What's funny is you've got an actual USB port on yours, Cap. I'm using that fucking converter for my stream cap.
I don't think it's my camera, dude.
Oh, don't you? Okay.
No, because on my end it's fine.
Yeah,
like,
I imagine it's some sort of connection thing, but I don't know. No idea.
Some sort of connection issue.
Yes. I wouldn't go as far as calling it an issue because you're not noticing any issues on your end. But yeah, I don't know. No idea.
Still don't know why this posts in my welcome rules every time. I don't know how to fucking remove it from it.
Remove what?
The announcement. When I go to the announcements bit, it doesn't tell me. It says it's only posting it to announcements, but it's posting it to the welcome rules as well.
Chris, if you have time during the week, I'll get on a video call with you and you can show you how to
it's not ticked. Welcome rules is not ticked on the list. No, it is not. I'm looking at it right now. Just announcements in my channel.
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
There's some kind of like fucking weird thing happening. Unless someone else is subscribed, because I subscribed Jimmy's channel to it as well.
No one else could. It could only be the one of the three of us, and I only did it to my Discords.
It wasn't me.
Very strange.
No, I'm not sure about that.
Wasn't me.
It was me.
Cap, you bastard. You've gone and freaking done it. Dude, Diablo 4 looks so good.
Fuck yeah, I know.
Oh, is this a world boss here? Yeah, cool.
So, are you streaming, Grizz? Is that what's going on?
Nope, I'm streaming.
Cool,
Grizz
Pav.
was recording, but we've canned that.
Oh yeah. Hey, g'day, mate. Red, how are you, buddy?
G'day, Reddos. Nice to see you, brother.
And I can confirm there are no more dropouts.
Yes.
So, issue solved. Somewhat.
Less than a month till I go to Bali, fellas.
Oh.
Got a big tattoo booked, Pav.
Oh, what are you getting?
Getting a big octopus across my arm, across my chest. Going. Not really. It's actually looking pretty chill and docile, but should be cool.
We'll talk about this in the podcast.
That sounds good. Yeah, we'll get started.
Should we do
it? Yeah.
Let's get it.
Oh yeah.
We have no intro song, so if you wanna, if you wanna just give us an intro song,
I'll just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right.
Oh, I thought you were doing it, mate. Yeah, we can do that again now.
Okay. Give us an acoustic. Give us an acapella. Give us an acapella intro.
Yeah, we're using this.
Do you want me to go?
Do it, man.
I'm using that as the intro. We're live.
Yeah, let's go. G'day and welcome to Oceanic Gaming Radio. How you doing? Thank you for joining us. You're looking incredibly handsome / beautiful / whatever it is that you want to be today.
Thanks, Cap.
I was talking to the viewers, but that's okay. You too, Bale. My name's Captain Perth. And alongside me, as always, are my good friends, Pavlova Face and Grizzly Gaming 86. Welcome, fellas. How we doing? We all right?
Hey, boys.
Doing
I hope
amazing.
that you keep that intro, Pav.
I am. That is going to be the intro.
Budget OGR
intro song for tonight's this week's episode. Absolutely.
I actually thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was fantastic. It was perfect.
Yeah. But yeah, we're kind of in between things at the moment. We've been actively, if you're a long time listener, you know that we've been having a little bit of audio issues here and there. But we've been actively trying to figure those out, and we have isolated it to Pavlova Face. So we're going to be amputating him from the podcast as of this week. No. So basically, it's his PC. We don't know. It's probably something to do with his motherboard. Yeah. So what do you reckon,
Something
Pav? What's the
weird
next
going
step?
on, mate.
We're
It's
just
got
going to be
ghosts
using
in
your
it,
laptop.
Cap. But yes, it's no dropouts today so far. So hell yeah, baby.
Which is wonderful. Love it.
Good.
But yeah, now, Pav, what have you been up to, mate? How you been?
I've been good. I've been I've just done my final move. I'm in the house fully. The unpacking process begins. A lot of that is going to entail redoing the studio. So hopefully we'll be up with a bit better setup for stream next week. We're with the bare essentials today. Not even all the essentials, to be honest with you. But
the bare necessities.
We'll make it work.
How's this? He's going to have 2 dedicated content creation rooms. 2.
Yeah, that's freaking crazy.
That's great.
I mean, dude, fuck yeah, let's go. We're gonna have some freaking serious Pav time going on.
The beauty of having my own house that only I live in.
Well, I mean, that's what you want to aim for anyway, right?
Exactly.
Is it a 4x2, Pav?
So it's a 3x2 plus the theater / studio. So essentially.
Dude, we need to, when you do get set up, definitely a board games night and a couple of beer skis, I reckon. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Grizzly.
Yes, sir.
I need to know, how was your weekend? I made that seem more important than it was.
Dude, it was it was a good weekend, mate. The weather here in Perth, West Australia, has turned around. We had quite a sunny, nice little weekend. But both of my Joyce and Lily had sleepovers, had friends sleep over on the weekend. So it was, all hands on deck, mate. We knew what it was like to have 5 children, and goddamn, I'm pretty happy we stopped at 3. Cap under percento.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, you've stopped permanently now, right? So
no more, mate. Yeah. Hey, there is something that I haven't told you that I did want to tell you about. I installed a new game. You know what I find, Cap, when I'm recently in my gaming, mate, is every week I have a new game that I'm playing pretty much. I just can't stick with one.
Do you know what? Same. It's actually such a bad habit. I very rarely finish games, honestly. Like when I was a kid, I used to finish them quite frequently because obviously I didn't have any fucking money because I didn't have a job. So mum and dad would buy them for you, and then you kind of have to finish. You get served and you finish what you're eating, kind of thing. But these days, I'm spoilt for choice.
And there was no free good games back then.
Oh
either,
no, not in those days,
chance,
mate. Well, you might get Age of Empires out of the Nutrigame packet.
That's true, dude. That is very true.
That was the age of free gaming back then. That's about as good as it got. Or if your parents had like a decent PC or something, you might have friends that would burn your floppy disk with like Elf Bowling or something on it.
Yeah, dude. We actually got our PlayStation 1 modded, chipped back when we were kids, so we could get the barley. Basically, someone just burning games on CDs. And
we did the same thing with the Wii back in the day. That was a good one. But yeah, no, dude, I know exactly what you mean. I've kind of been the same. I did start Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and then kind of fell off. I do need to go back and finish it because I do like that game, but it's just I'm in this like weird part in the middle where I just feel like I'm kind of doing character development and not actually progressing the story very well, which is kind of shit. But and then the other game I need to go back and finish is Cult of the Lamb, which we'll speak about later on today. But I actually downloaded Path of Exile.
What?
Because I got mates
After
playing
us
it.
shitting on it last week, mate.
Yeah, I know. But do you know what?
I've actually seen your mate playing it. What's his name? Saddlebags. I've seen him on my Steam list playing it. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So I thought, maybe I'll just jump on with the boys and just fuck around. But every time I've gone to play that game, dude, it's just not stuck with me.
Yeah.
And I think what I do is I go, wait a second, this isn't Diablo. What the fuck? And I know there's going to be listeners going, well, yeah, it's better than Diablo because it's got all these cool systems and yada yada yada. But yeah,
it's got a fucking good end game. I hear like the mapping stuff. Well, I did something similar, Cap. I actually downloaded Total War Warhammer 2. Bought and downloaded that. So
I saw you playing that. So what spurred that?
Well, man, I had this, I don't know what it was. I think it might actually been us looking at these retro games, which we're going to talk about a bit later in the episode. But I used to have this really old Warhammer game, which was essentially what Total War is, where you were Britannia, so which is like the human race, and you would go through this campaign, place your units and stuff. And I really wanted to play like this tactical RPG, turn-based game, and I've been wanting to play Total War forever, since the first one came out, but I could never justify the price tag on it. They're expensive, man, those games. And you pay like a once-off price for the main game, and then they have like 50 DLCs that you can buy as well that are like $13 each to unlock all the races. Like real money hungry, but quite good. Anyway, I bought this because I just saw it that Total War 3 was out, and I hadn't played Total War 1 or 2, and I just did a bit of Googling, went and banged it on. But dude, so far it's pretty cool. The only thing that really pissed me off here, Cap, is this before you start a combat, you get an option to either like do the quick battle where it will do the battle for you, or play the battle out yourself. And I got myself into a siege where I was sieging this dude's castle. It said the odds that I was going to win decisively, but I'd never done a siege before. And I said that I would play it, and my troops got fucking owned, mate. I didn't.
I like how they baited you into it. Like, yeah, mate, you got this. No worries.
Yeah, I got wrecked.
Actually, Straight Jacket Jim in chat is saying, there's a guy who's taken the week off to play the new PoE expansion, which I was aware there was a new expansion coming out. But what I want to ask you, Grizz, is have you ever taken time off for a video game?
Dude, I always say that I would, and I always say, yeah, I will, but I never do. No, I don't know. Maybe I will for Diablo 4 release, but at the same time, Cap, I feel like launch day, if you're hoping to play a game on launch day that is online, it
tends to be the worst way to try a game out.
Good luck to you.
Especially
PoE is different though. They're probably pretty well tested.
Well, you'd think by now they've probably got it down on lock, but I don't know. Like even things like World of Warcraft, which I have taken time off for in the past. Yeah, absolutely. I remember taking time off for Skyrim when that came out, and fuck, I wish I could get that day back. Fucking got 'em.
Good game, man.
But yeah, I mean, obviously a live service game like World of Warcraft and the popularity on release when those new games comes out, tends to push this nostalgia thing that everyone wants to go back and experience that day one launch, because it's spectacular, dude. When you do finally get onto that server and everyone's running around and doing their thing, it's
You're
so
gonna
good.
play Wrath of the Lich King, Cap?
No,
when that comes. Not gonna play it.
Not
You're
interested.
gonna play Dragonflight?
Yeah.
Will you take time off for Dragonflight? Maybe.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I'll probably already have time off anyway, because it's probably going to be. I don't know. They haven't announced anything yet, but I was thinking like they've gone into alpha, right? So maybe October, maybe November, and if it's October, I'll already be off work because I'm having my baby on the. We've got a date now, the 3rd of October. So that's going to be the big C-section day. So it'll probably be around about then. But yeah,
now, Cap, is that definitely what's happening, mate? You're locked in the C-section. Is that baby's just too big, mate? Too many Captain Perth beards in there.
Literally, the baby is in the 99th percentile in weight, and it is just a fucking monster, an absolute monster, a human chungus. So yeah. The doctor was like, because doctors are always a little bit funny about this. They're kind of like, you could have a C-section or you could try and do it naturally, because they don't want, I guess from like a doctor standpoint, they don't want to be like if something goes wrong or something happens, then you go, oh, well, you told me to have a C-section, or you told me to try and have it naturally. So they kind of don't commit to anything. But our doctor was pretty good. So she was like, look, you got a 50% chance of maybe, being able to deliver naturally. Or you could just have a C-section. Your recovery time is going to be way quicker because it's not going to be emergency C-section. You're way better off. So that's what we're doing. It's going to be really good. Now, I don't think I've got an awful lot to tell.
You always want the safest option, Cap, and it sounds like with maybe that size, mate, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll go with that, and I think
now Cap, I need to know.
Yes,
I need to know what you did on your weekend, mate.
Well, this is the thing.
Gotcha.
I didn't do enough. I played golf yesterday, actually, and actually had a pretty decent round. I'm not a very handy golfer. Like, I'm okay. I hit 53 off 9 holes, which, it's fine. Nothing. It's not fucking Tiger Woods material or anything, but it's pretty good.
Any birdies, mate?
No birdies, but I got 2 pars in a row, which is actually pretty fucking good for me. Then a bunch of blowout holes where I hit 8 or some shit. But yeah, it was good. To be honest, nice. I didn't have any absolute troglodyte holes where you just can't make it happen. But it was really good. It was good fun catching up with a few mates, and had a few beers on Friday and Saturday night, so that was nice. And that was pretty much my whole weekend. Played a little bit of Dota I'm pretty sure I played Dota with you, didn't I?
Yeah, we did. Probably. We've got a crazy win rate right now, Cap. We've got like a 90% fucking win rate in Dota.
Is it 90?
Right now.
Jesus
Christ. It was 80, and we haven't lost a game yet. I'm pretty sure we're bloody just keep on
climbing, dude. Mate. Fucking listen to that.
We're going to be going to the international, Cap, aren't we, mate?
God, I wish. The international this year, for those who are wondering, for the Dota 2, the championship is happening around about the time. I think it's literally about the same time as my first child is being born. So I shall not be attending, unfortunately. Grizz is going to be there in style. So which we spoke about last week.
You got to take some clips. See if I can get on the TV, mate. I'll write a big sign. Hey, Cap. Or OGR, you know what? I'll advertise the podcast at
boy.
Big sign.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv
People will see that and think, it must be a Dota podcast, and it's like just a couple of Aussie blokes talking absolute shit. Excellent. All right, Grizz. Now let's just let's take this into the next gear. Gear 3. We're going straight in. All right. So before we sort of do anything, just as always, would like to thank our wonderful, wonderful Patreons, as we do every week, for continuing to support this little podcast of ours. Again, it's the Pavlova face fund now for his little expensive issue that he's experiencing with his PC being an utter piece of garbage. Anyways, thank you to Amasukai, Moosey, Hone Honey, Caging Runt, Sergeant Paul, and Lee DG. Freaking appreciate you guys. You guys are legends. Now, if you'd like to become a Patreon and support this podcast, your local Australian fucking Aussie bloody podcast gaming and shit, you can do so too. Go and check out patreon.com and look up Oceanic Gaming Radio. We don't actually have what's it called, affiliation in Twitch yet. Maybe we might never get it. Might just be easy to stick with Patreon. So
we should probably
that's
sort
how you
that
can
out
support
at
us.
some point.
Yeah, probably. But guess what? We haven't. Now, Grizz.
Yes.
Other
sir.
things on the menu. Diablo 4, as we spoke about earlier.
Yep.
There's been a bit of an update, bit of a blog post that's come out, and quite a lot of juicy information. So we're going to pick that apart for you guys, piece by bloody piece. And then we've also got a story about a fan discovering a 20-year-old secret in a game. What is that game?
Yep.
You'll find out more later. And we're also going to discuss some of our own favorite secret game modes that have been discovered. So yeah, pretty cool. Now, we also wanted to sort of talk about Massive Monster, the developers of Cult of the Lamb. And we got a few other little bits and pieces, and we'll see how we're going for time, which we can talk about too. Nexus Mods does some very commendable stuff. Black Myth Wukong has released an 8-minute gameplay trailer. That's the Souls-like kind of Monkey King Chinese fable kind of game.
You had me at Souls-like. I did not know. I'm looking forward to that then, Capo.
Are you sure you didn't know about that?
Maybe.
You must have seen it, dude.
I could have forgotten. I'm going to look at the YouTube right now.
Yeah, I mean, your mind is like a sieve, mate, so I wouldn't be...
Like a fish.
Yeah, like a fish.
Yep. Everything's new every 5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. And then Embracer Group continues to expand. So Embracer Group are the guys that picked up the Square Enix droppings. So when they shed their Western development studios, they dropped a few, and then Embracer Group picked them up. And now they've picked up some even more shit. One thing in there, particularly interesting. Now, we'll also go through our OGR poll and quickfire news. But without further ado, let's get fucking stuck straight in, my friend. All right. Grizz, Diablo 4.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
How do you feel about Diablo 4 in general?
Pretty good in general. I guess we probably work our way through this and give it a general consensus. But I guess a takeaway from me, Cap, this blog post is very clearly trying to backtrack on a lot of the shit they copped for Diablo Immortal. So you can see them really spelling stuff out for people, particularly around their monetization model and what's included in the shop and what's included in the different monetization model they've got.
How things work.
Just
so you know, it works like this.
Yeah.
Well, look, let's go through each little section and kind of just, we might just sort of discuss the section and just say what it is in the blog post. And then we can kind of maybe go through each section and maybe talk about the things we do and don't like. So basically, the game directors have released this blog post. They're kind of picking apart a bunch of things about Diablo 4. One main thing that they want to kind of express is the fact that this is a live service game, which if you're wondering what a live service game is, well, think things like Destiny 2, for example. It's an ever-changing, ever-evolving game built on the base game. Tends to be that they just
constant updates happening.
Yeah. Tuning to game mechanics and, for example, they'll have patch notes quite regularly where they've tuned things where, for example, in Destiny 2, some guns might not be performing as well as others, so they'll try and fix it up a little bit. But yeah, so they kind of just wanted to sort of express that this is a live service game, okay, which, as you do. And then they're also going through all their monetization stuff as well. So let's begin at article number 1, seasons. Okay, so basically they're just talking about how there's going to be this idea of seasonal content updates. So they're going to be delivering content in seasons, kind of similarly, I guess, to Diablo 3, but probably a bit more heavy on the content and readjustment side, Grizz. So new quests to introduce the season, and also they'll be adding new mechanics, which again lines up quite nicely with Destiny 2. And there's going to be a bit of a theme here that I want to talk about later. But yeah, so seasons. So they got seasons.
This is pretty interesting here, Cap, straight away, because I don't know if you remember the Diablo 3 launch started with nothing. There was no end game.
Yeah.
There was no seasons. There was no rifts, no bounties. There were 2 difficulties in the game, and it took them a long time to establish the content. So it's good to see that now that Diablo 3 has this quite successful quarterly season. They've kind of mentioned here that these seasons will be quarterly as well, and they'll be dropping when the game drops. So day one, you'll have an end game and season starting off the bat on a quarterly cycle. So yeah, I think this is great. One thing that I still find myself, Cap, going back to Diablo 3 every now and then when a new season drops, just to check it out. They do quite unique things like they might add certain modifiers and things that might change the way the game plays. An example is they had one season where they introduced a lot more treasure goblins were spawning as a mechanic, and different things may happen. They had another one where it would roll between different elements of the different, whatever the elements for Diablo were. And when that element was on, you would deal more damage of that type and just change things up a little bit. But also it introduces this fresh start every season, right? So every quarter you can play on a season, you start a level 1 character alongside everyone else, and there's leaderboards. So once you get to the end game, you can compete alongside everyone else and try to get your way on the leaderboard. So yeah, I think it's something that has really worked well for Diablo 3, and I hope
in the past, right? Yeah,
yeah,
and kind of recreating that in Diablo 4.
I think it's cool. I think seasons from the start is a good way for them to create a bit of competitiveness in the game, if that's the way it works, and leaderboards and things.
Yep. Now, Sporklin in chat is saying trying to compete more against Path of Exile with their leagues system.
Yeah.
Now, yeah. But I thought Diablo 3 had a ranking kind of season system before PoE was released. Maybe I'm wrong there. But I mean, obviously, PoE has managed to iterate a lot more because they're probably they're way more of a live service than what Diablo 3 ever was.
I tell you what, though, dude, like this last time I went back to play PoE was when they had this delving mechanic as one of their what did Sport call it? Seasons, PoE leagues, and it was like game changing, dude. It was a whole new area and a whole new massive mechanic where you would use these. You were in like a mine cart thing, and you could choose zones to go in.
I
don't know if you played that. I feel like there were a lot more like development time to develop those over what the Diablo 3 leagues were, which are kind of like here's just a little bit kind of thing, and here you go. Off you go.
And this is the thing, though, right, Grizz? So this is what Diablo 4 is contending with, right? Path of Exile is bringing out fresh content every time not every time they're doing a league or a season, but they are bringing in some quite consistently big updates that are mixing up the meta, changing the way you approach the game. In fact, I think the newest update for Path of Exile will be involving some kind of, again, I've only just seen a very vague trailer, and I didn't take much attention because I don't play Path of Exile, but I believe it's a lake that has all these kind of like hexagonal basalt columns that form these little mini islands on the lake, and you're kind of trying to make your way across the lake on these ever-changing islands. And, those islands are populated with, this, that, and whatever else. And that's how they have this, like, what do you call it? Procedurally generated content through there. So, yeah, like you said, seems like Diablo 4 is interested in kind of trying to emulate something like that.
Yeah, and this is the bottom of that seasons bit here. They say this affords us several advantages, and chief among them is that we can rarely shake the box of Diablo 4 with each season, creating unique experience with each of our quarterly releases. So I agree. I think they'll be trying to be a little bit more, what would you say? Maybe
content
going a little
heavy,
bit,
I guess.
Yeah, content heavy,
And less, I guess, with Diablo 3, maybe... I guess they kind of just used a lot of the base game assets to maybe recreate things within the game that were kind of new. Whereas with this, it kind of seems like they will be actively adding, new experiences.
The monetization model in Diablo 3, it's a one, you buy the game once and there's a DLC, but there's no real ongoing monetization in that game. And I think that in terms of like, the cost to develop massively changing new content every season is not there, where PoE has this pretty good system where you can buy storage slots, and you can buy this and you can buy that, and cosmetics and this and that, which probably affords for them to have a more in-depth development cycle. So Diablo 4 if they get their monetization right, which we will get to in a bit, I think can be a little bit more explorative with their seasons
Absolutely.
and what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So continuing on, Grizz, they've got another section that's under kind of this idea of new content, which we've kind of explored already just before, but just sort of solidifying this, they will be releasing fresh new gameplay features and quest lines that come along with new challenges, mysteries, and possibilities into the level up experience. So again, that's probably how they're going to. Well, it says here explicitly, each season's new questline will reveal more of the world of Sanctuary and your hero's place within it. So that's kind of how they'll be doing things. It looks like they'll be sort of introducing new characters and revisiting old ones. So,
yeah,
you know, you might see old Zoltan Cool and fucking guys like that. So,
didn't Deckard Cain in Diablo 3, Cap? I wonder if he's going to make a fucking
Doesn't
appearance.
he cark it?
Yeah, he gets killed. Yeah.
Well, so I suppose we could revive him. I mean, necromancy is certainly not off limits in Diablo. So
comes back as a fucking boss or something, man, and just like starts.
Dude, what about just give him the treatment that they did that head in God of War, just a floating skull of Deckard Cain going, yes, sit a while and listen. You know, that'd be fucking sweet. Yeah, I'd love that. Like that. Now, the next one that I'm quite excited about, Grizz, because we have kind of touched on this here and there, but so this one's called Refreshing the Meta. Now, basically, they share this screenshot of the Paragon system, which, you know, is just this big. You know what I like about it, Grizz? Okay, it resembles a like old Diablo 2 map from top down kind of thing. You know that it's like all these little points that you can put points into, but they kind of are in squares. And they kind of look like a map. So you're kind of filling out all these glyphs on your little map to give your character power, and that's the Paragon system. That's the system that begins, I assume, after you hit max level in Diablo 4. Now, this is kind of similar to the Path of Exile stuff that they've got going on. I don't know what you call their endgame system, but it's just a fucking star map of endless possibilities that are just way too much for me to ever worry about. But yeah, so this looks really good. I think again, it's quite exhaustive, which worries me. But it does seem like the developers said here verbatim, Diablo is a game that is about creating exciting, overpowered builds. And while we don't want to balance the fun out of the experience, we don't want to create situations in which imprecise tuning squashes creativity, which is one thing I've said for a while, Grizz, about this, is they need to get right the balancing so that you can have that creativity in your build where it doesn't make you feel like you're kind of doing yourself out of a better build because you just want to try out this interesting thing that you've put together.
100% agree. And I think where we landed last time with this, when I was complaining that there being no action RPGs out there, that's because this balancing thing is the hardest thing to nail, especially when you've got a treat like this. But yeah, this gets me excited, Cap, because I actually thought, and it's a genuine opinion why a lot of people went from Diablo 3 to Path of Exile, is that Diablo 3 felt quite dumbed down in terms of the stats and the skill trees and even the Paragon system that sat behind that. And until they had really released and worked on the legendary items and the affixes that come with those, your builds were pretty asymmetrical. Like most demon hunters were running the same builds across the classes. So seeing this vision that we can see, and just to further add to Cap's bit, if you haven't seen the blog post we're talking about, it is an image of it's the Paragon tree, and basically lots of squares and lots of different little bits and pieces you can select. And I'd love to see what some of those are. I'm assuming they're not just stats, Cap, but they're probably
that was definitely one thing I was a little bit. So it does look like some of the glyphs, I guess, are a little bit different to the other glyphs, and it looks like you must in game find glyphs that you can put into the slots within the map, and then those do certain things.
Maybe this is their take on legendary gems. Maybe you can find gems in game that you can slot into those. Dude, I like looking at this kind of stuff, and this blog post did legitimately get me quite excited for Diablo 4.
Dude, fucking same. This certainly made me go, holy shit, okay, this is pretty fucking cool.
I think whoever's written this has been very careful, Cap, as well. You know, like we said at the start of this, but like they're really trying to paint the picture that what it is and what it isn't, and trying to separate it from that Diablo immoral, because they obviously copped a lot of bad juju from that one.
Well, absolutely, and of course it is when you monetize like that. But that's just how things go. But But yeah, so they do sort of elaborate here, saying that they're going to constantly be adding new legendary and unique items, Paragon boards. So it seems like these squares sort of take place on a Paragon board that you can acquire and do whatever you want with, and that's kind of like a circle that contains all of these squares that you can put your glyphs into. What do those glyphs and bits and pieces do? Who fucking knows? We're not quite there yet in terms of what they're willing to share, but so that's what's going to be happening. So so the opportunity to create builds into each new season, and do you know what I think is going to be really good for the community at a whole, Grizz, is if this system is customizable enough where people do actively want to share their builds and say, hey, this is what's working for me. Try it out. And then they share like a link to their build, kind of like World of Warcraft has their character profiles online, so you can share that. Like if they do that, I really feel like that'll help the community a lot and get people really excited about new builds.
Absolutely,
and oh my god, have you seen this new Paragon board? Look at this fucking setup, dude. If this is the way it is going to be, it's going to be fucking nuts in the next season, kind of thing. That kind of shit is going to be wicked. So
theory crafting is great, man. My most successful video on YouTube, Cap, is actually a Diablo 3 clip where I was theory crafting a boulder toss barbarian, mate. Still get it's a great, like as a fresh level 70 barbarian, probably one of the better builds straight out of the box. Doesn't compete late game, but it is quite good out of the box. Yeah,
that is fucking cool. Bit of fun. But overall, the actual meta of the game seems like they're going to be paying close attention to it. How well does that translate? We won't know till the game comes out. Will those choices that you make in that Paragon board actually feel, rewarding? That's going to be the biggest thing for me. So we'll see how that goes. Or is it going to be the kind of thing where I just go, oh, this is too fucking hard, too fucking boring. I'm just
give me half a point of dex or half a point of vitality per point. Yeah.
Or does it just go? Do they just go full PoE to the point where I go, it's just a fucking spreadsheet and I don't want to figure this out, and I just have to go and find some build online, which kind of takes the fun out of it for me. We'll find out. Okay, the next section here, Grizz, improving the game, which is pretty straightforward. They basically just said, hey, we're holding this IP to a pretty high standard. We want this game to live on for a long time. So we're going to be putting a lot of developers behind this project, and we're going to be working with the community to kind of identify things that people want changed and prioritize and get things done. But they basically said you can rest assured that we will be active in improving the quality of the game experience for years to come. But they did say, well, we cannot. So they said we cannot always flip a switch to tackle something immediately, which I just wish game players understood sometimes, because as a developer myself, you can't just go, oh, why can't you do that? Well, mate, here you go. Here's the fucking source code. You go and fucking sort it out. Pal. All right, you fucking dingus. All right, now pay me $1 million. No. But
see, they're being very careful, Cap. Being very careful in the way they've written this blog post, mate.
Oh, well, dude, I think recent Blizzard controversy, they absolutely have to. But I think they've done a good job so far. All right, so live events. Now, so basically here, Grizz, they're just talking about how they're going to be having live events that sort of pop up in the immediate game world, such as Invasion of the Drowned, which might last a weekend, or the arrival of a strange peddler amidst the crags of the dry steppes. Now, Grizz, I keep saying it. Fucking Destiny 2. They get a strange peddler. Fucking Xur. I'm telling you, mate. This every time I read this blog post, I just kept getting fucking Destiny 2 vibes off this. But we'll get more into that in a bit.
This is cool. Like I like this. One thing that Diablo 3 does reasonably well, Cap, there's a couple of items, mate, that are cosmetic items that are tied to ridiculously low drop chance. Like I'm talking like 0.1% for you to get into one of the. Well, you need to get into one of the goblin realms. I think it is the rainbow colored goblin. Then in there needs to be an elite that spawns. Then the elite has a drop chance for this cosmetic pair of rainbow wings. Yeah, it's this. People play for every get a
secret game mode. Eat your heart out for later.
Yeah, I reckon this is going to be cool, man, because I can imagine them tying stuff like that in. If they have these live events like for Halloween or whatever it might be, there might be different bits and pieces that happens throughout the year where you can get exclusive little, I don't know, cosmetics and bits and pieces. Would be just be
cow level esque shit as well, potentially. which for those that don't know what we're talking about, an old, it was Destiny 2, Diablo 2, wasn't it? The cow level was
They had
initially kind
a
of found.
they had a cow level in Diablo 1 as well, where it's same thing. You
Oh.
use Wirt's leg and a tome of teleport, and you could create a cow level in there. Yeah.
So cool. Just level filled with
Yeah.
cows that you'd battle.
Mm.
Very rad. So yeah, anyways, that's the live event section. So they kind of talk about, what will be appearing as the time goes on. There'll be sort of content tied to certain times of the year, etc. I guess kind of a little bit Warcrafty as well, Grizz. World of
Yeah.
Warcraft has kind of events that are tied to certain times of the year, and they
The
come
one-
up, every
Oh
time.
yeah, they
every
do.
time of year.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, yeah. The other
Yeah.
thing that I thought about here was like, I just could not help but think this live events. I was thinking about Fortnite. It's like, well, they're going to
Oh,
get
yeah.
fucking gonna get Metallica in there to do a live music event or something. Eh?
Actually, that'd be pretty fucking baller, dude. Imagine that. That'd be sweet.
That'd be sick,
Oh god. All right, now moving along. They are talking next about season journey. Right. So basically, what I understand this to be, Grizz, is
Yep.
kind of limited time rewards for each season. Right. So
Yes.
Destiny 2 again kind of does the same thing.
Yeah, dude, Diablo 3 does this. So
Yeah.
every season that comes out every quarter, there is something cosmetic that you can unlock by doing something random in the world.
Yeah. Now, is that tied to a season that is limited?
Yes, tied to a
Yeah.
quarterly season.
So if you didn't do that season thing, you couldn't get that item ever again.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've
Yeah.
got like a bunch of the season wings and random stuff and pets and things that are tied to the seasons that that won't come around again. So that's kind of cool. It makes you want to play the game if you're a bit of a completionist, that kind of thing. But yeah, so what do they say? They say here the season pass, or they're talking. So they talk about the season pass in.
This is where they open up the idea of the season pass, which I mean, Diablo Immortal has a season pass. A lot of other games have a season pass.
Yeah.
And so they're going to be shoehorning that into Diablo 4. Now, the idea of this journey is pretty closely tied to this season pass, where I guess you're kind of working through a season pass over the expansion of a season. And that is your kind of seasonal journey, I guess, because you're unlocking features on that season pass, whether it be of either the free or the premium / paid tier of that season pass, because there are two parts. You can just go for the free tier, or you can buy the premium tier, and that kind of takes us into the next area.
Come with stuff. I mean, I think this is going to be their monetization model here, Cap. Right, and we see this across quite a few other games, and I think this is okay. So, like I've said this before on the podcast, but Fortnite I think does a particularly good job of this. Where if you buy the season pass for that season, if you play a lot, you'll actually unlock enough of the premium currency through the season pass to buy the next one the next season. So kind of, I don't know whether Diablo 4 are going to do that, but
I was going to say,
generally,
if I know Blizzard, Grizz, I'm telling you right now, they will not do that.
They will not do that. Yeah,
they'll make it so you need to. You're like 1 cent off, and the only way to buy more currency is like a $15 buy-in for currency or something ridiculous.
Yeah, something like that, won't it? Yeah. I mean, hopefully they make the rewards in there worthwhile in the season pass. Otherwise, dude, you're already paying for the game, right? But I guess what you need to keep in mind here is what we talked about before is Diablo 3 not having a good monetization model, is that if their monetization model isn't effective, then we probably are not going to see the level of development in the ongoing seasons that we want to see, Cap. So I do kind of hope that they sell these fucking battle passes so I can have this live service game that I can play for the next 10 years and it'd be fun and enjoyable, mate, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, Grizz, and look, we'll wait till the end before I really barrel into this, but just the idea of a game as a live service is just so different to, games in general these days, and what those entail and what they will do in live service games that I guess to kind of take the atmosphere out of the game for me, but shoehorn like things in there. Anyways, look, I'll kind of get into a little bit more later on, but let's just sort of talk about this season pass. So, basically, What's going to be in the season pass, Grizz? They're going to have a free and premium tier. They're going to be giving away season pass cosmetics in that season pass.
Mm-hmm.
And the season pass will also award premium currency, which
So
can be spent
maybe-
on the shop.
Oh, can it buy your next season pass?
Don't know. Well, it depends. Maybe the season pass is bought through the shop.
Okay.
And if that's the case, which probably would be the case, yeah, I guess that's what they probably end up doing, I would think. But yeah, basically, they go. This is where, from this point onwards, Grizz, this is where they really explain everything. I feel like they just had a paragraph for all the previous sections, and this is where they go, this is exactly how it works. It's like this. This is the intricate details about this, blah, 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 blah. They're obviously shitting their pants about players catching on to what kind of monetization models they're using.
Exactly, mate. Like we would. If they fucked this up, Cap, we would have been bloody down their throats about it, mate.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, just it kind of reads like a fucking novel from this point onwards, but we'll kind of try and summarize this for you guys at home listening. But yeah, so they're basically giving you a premium currency, cosmetics. Now, one thing, and oh my God, Grizz, this is what I'm talking about when I said it removes the atmosphere from the game, is this idea of season boosts, right?
Yeah.
So a season boost might accelerate XP earned to make leveling multiple characters within a season faster. Because they affect gameplay, season boosts are free rewards for all players. So this is my concern with the idea of games as a live service, because Diablo, Destiny 2 does the exact same thing. They have these boost things on the free tier where it boosts your accumulation of certain things in the game, whether it be XP, gold, you know, still free systems that you take part in, but it's kind of just like, just why fucking have it at all? Like, just make the whole game experience good enough that it doesn't need to have these stupid little things on your season pass to fill out certain nodes on there, because you haven't got enough shit to give away on there.
I reckon it's different for Diablo, Cap, to Destiny. The reason being, on Diablo, when the season starts, you start level 1, whereas Destiny you don't. Now, the issue with this is an issue with Diablo 3, and I'm surprised they haven't tried this out on Diablo 3, because what happens whenever a new season starts, you level your first character, especially in hardcore, and if he dies, it takes you probably about 8 hours in game to get to max level, and that's rarely where the season starts. That's when you can start doing rifts. It's where you can start finding your gear and doing greater rifts and other bits and pieces. I reckon 80 to 90% of the people that play seasons just get power leveled from 1 to 60 by someone in a rift randomly. And I think that that's what this is trying to do. It's like, well, rather than someone who's got no friends that can't get a power level, we're just going to go, once you've done it with one character, you get an XP boost for your subsequent characters to make their life easier, not having to spend 8 hours to get back up to max level or whatever it might be in hardcore. I don't know. That's the kind of way that I read. First time I read this, I was like, this is weird, but I can kind of see it. It's definitely a fault in the Diablo 3 seasons thing, where if you haven't got any friends and you're trying to get on the leaderboards for something, and you rip a hardcore character and then you're having to go back and spend 8 hours to get to max level with no gear, it's just like, it kind of...
It's a slog.
It's a slog. It's a slog.
So
see how, I mean, they don't say this, Cap. They don't say that you need to have a character reach max level first, but I'm wondering whether that'll be like a...
So that's my issue, right?
So something.
If it is, the implementation is that when you've already... So the first character you level in a season is going to be the intended leveling experience. Then every character after that, you can then spend this XP boost on to get them leveled up quicker. That's fine. If you're littering these XP boosts in my leveling experience with the intention just to fill out your season pass, that's a problem for me, because just make the game good enough where I don't need that. And maybe have other shit on your season pass that isn't just fucking filler.
Well, imagine on your first playthrough with this, Cap, and you get to level 10, you're like, oh yes, I unlocked an experience boost. And then all of a sudden you're trying to play real quick in a lot of time. Like, I feel like that's not the type of game that I hope this is. I hope it's more of a, you enjoy it and you're not trying to speed through the content, stuff like that. Maybe later down the track when you're trying to compete for leaderboard spots, but yeah, I don't know. Seasonal boosting. I don't know. We'll see where it lands, I guess, but it does seem a little bit funny at this point for sure.
Yeah. Now, the final thing that they talk about for the season pass is this idea of the season journey accelerates season pass progression. So this kind of elaborates a bit further on the idea of a season journey, which kind of I feel like wasn't super well explained in the previous season
Mhm.
journey area. But
Mm.
basically, it seems like there's going to be objectives that you do each season, whether it's like kill a billion fucking demons or do
Yeah.
12 riffs or something, and that'll help. If you do those objectives, that'll help accelerate
Mm.
your season pass. So that seems like the way things will go. So each season you'll have new objectives.
So
Again, I'm
what
telling you, Grizz, that's so fucking Destiny 2. It's out of control.
Yeah. Well, I think, dude, I think Diablo 3 does this kind of through their Hedrig's gift. It's not a seasonal pass, but essentially it has these things where it might say complete 2 rifts and then do this and this. And then when you do that, it gives you 2 pieces of a set, a green set. And the green sets rotate for each character per season. So do you kind of get what I'm saying? So I'm wondering whether they're kind of building that thing that's already built into Diablo 3, but just
Yep.
putting in the season pass instead. So
Yep.
kind of do
Yeah.
these quests and get a set.
Yep.
It's not bad because what happens is you find that the season based on what set they give you drives the meta for that class. So
Yep.
you'll see the leaderboards and the barbs are pushing stuff with the set that's come from the seasonal pretty early, and it's kind of good. So
Yeah.
see where
Rad.
that lands.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how the season pass goes in general, I suppose, once we do get a bit more information. But the next item or big category they had was the idea of the shop, right? So
Oh,
the
yeah.
actual
Let's
in-game
go
shop
through
front.
that. Mhm.
So what they again a very very long explained, very detailed response about this particular item. So they basically say, I'm just going to verbatim this. We want buying things to feel good before, during, and after the purchase, which I just thought was the fucking funniest thing ever. Because we had people that probably buy something and go, oh, well, that wasn't, I mean, it's just a fucking skin.
Do you
Because that's
reckon this
basically
comes
what this
back
is going
to
to be.
gambling, Cap? And like if you buy it, was kind of like talking about when you buy an Overwatch box or something and you open it and you feel bad afterwards because
Yeah,
you bought something that
maybe
wasn't
that is maybe
advertised?
that's what they're aiming for, to kind of like explain that there won't be that
Yeah.
kind of association with loot boxes. But there's nothing in here that says there won't be loot boxes in this article, just FYI. So, but what they do say is that everything in the shop is going to be cosmetic only. You can't
Yep.
buy anything that's pay for win or pay to progress or anything like that. So,
Fuck yeah, dude.
so
Yeah.
all the cosmetics seem to really lean into the lore and I guess fantasy of your intended character. So very Diablo. There's not going to be like big fucking, I don't know, clown suits or anything fucking stupid or Goku suits
Yeah.
for these characters. So for example, the barbarian seems to have some barbarian-esque kind of gladiator kind of shit going on. The necromancer has some fucking radical kind of heretic slash blood god shit going on. And the rogue, they seem to have like some cool bow and arrow themed stuff with like hunters and gatherers and cool kind of like Chinese mythology shit going on. So yeah, they kind of have like their class fantasy set, and it's all transmoggable apparently. So they want to make sure that if you want to sort of create your own stuff with pieces of each kind of set, you can kind of mix and match stuff, which sounds good to me. Again, Destiny 2 does this, Grizz, so
Do
it's
they?
kind of
Yeah,
fine
yeah.
by me.
Yep.
As long as there's no power gain or anything intended, it's just purely just a transmog. Whatever, I don't care.
Now, Cap, if Diablo 4 is taking a lot of this inspiration from Destiny 2, would you be happy about that? Do you think it is
Yeah.
a good? Yeah,
I think Destiny 2 does a fairly decent job of monetization. But now one thing, Grizz, is obviously Bungie used to provide Destiny 2 on the Blizzard, the Battle.net app.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
for a time there was a moment where Blizzard and Bungie were working fairly close together, and I believe their development teams were kind of talking together. So I kind of wonder whether maybe some of the conversations that they had, or bits and pieces, they kind of shared a lot of ideas about games as a live service, because a lot of this shit just seems so Destiny 2 inspired to me. It's out of control. Just the idea of kind of like overarching things that you do over a season, because I mean, Destiny 2 literally has season of the blah every season, and that's what they do. That's their season thing, and then they have achievements for that season which help progress you and give you XP, and then that kind of they have a season pass that kind of does the same thing. They have these ideas of ongoing kind of XP boosts and shit like that. But I'm kind of getting away from the shop. They also have a shop, which again mostly purely cosmetic.
I want you to point out this statement here, Capo, and I think just keep in the back of the mind all of the media surrounding Diablo Immortal here. So they go, if players choose to buy something, it should be because they want to, not because they feel like they have to. It should also be clear that players know exactly what they are getting before they choose to buy, with no unpleasant surprises. Now, a few weeks ago when we were unpacking the Diablo Immortal saga and the amount of money change, there was a couple of things that happened there where they had items in the shop that looked identical to items that you'll find out in the world. And the only difference between them was a slight wording change in the title of those items, but they actually had very different meanings in game. And so it was clear that they were trying to get people to buy stuff, not realizing it was different to the item. Like there was a lot of this shady stuff through the stores, and I feel like they definitely have read. For? This is for Diablo Immortal. Right, they had some rift stones that you could buy. Purple, same as the purple one that you would find in the game. The titles of them were nearly identical, but there was just like a slight word that was slightly different. But they had different implications. I think what happened is, if you find items using one of the rift stones, you could sell them on an open marketplace, whereas the items found for the free-to-play ones, you couldn't do that, which stopped your progression. Essentially, I feel like they're really being clear here, saying that there's no shady shit happening here.
Yeah, they definitely seem like they're going for this idea of transparency. But I mean, fuck, Grizz, we've seen Blizzard do this before. They say one thing and then they've kind of worded it in a certain way that kind of, but hang on, they said that it wouldn't have this, but instead it's actually just got this. Like I said, they don't mention loot boxes in that in this game, but they could very well have them.
It's a really good thing to talk about is the evolution of monetization in Blizzard games. I mean, let's look at Diablo 3 as an example, Cap. That game was released with a real money auction house in it.
Yeah. And subsequently removed.
Like, this might be all well and good that they come out with a blog post saying that they're not going to have, there's no indication of loot boxes and they're just going to be relying on this season pass. But in all reality, who knows, mate? I mean, let's have a look at the success that Diablo Immortal has had. And I wonder whether they're going to be licking their fingers thinking, maybe we can make it.
I think it's a difficult one, right? Because the upside as a business, right, for Diablo Immortal is that most people's phones can play Diablo Immortal. Not everyone's gaming rigs or PCs can play Diablo 4, right? So when it comes to drawing the ire or rage of gamers, generally gamers are pretty happy to just drop shit when they feel like they're not heard, or their developers are just sort of doing shady shit. So I think when it comes to a game like Diablo 4, and again, anything can fucking happen. They could go and just completely fuck us on monetization, but I think they have to be very careful when it comes to a game like this that is a AAA gaming title that is going to be played on very high-powered gaming rigs or consoles. They need to tread lightly, and I think that's why this blog post is written in such a way that they are trading very fucking lightly, especially when it comes to the idea of monetization. Now, one thing I wanted to kind of just quickly mention, Grizz, is you sort of mentioned it just before, was this idea of transparency for the shop front, right, and being able to adequately preview items and see them on your character and stuff. Now, I did a bit of research on this because I just thought it was a little bit weird, not weird, but I just felt like they really focused on it a lot. And it sounds like Path of Exile doesn't do a very good job of this. And maybe it might be a bit of a dig at Path of Exile because they don't really have a very good way of viewing how things look on your character. And it kind of goes down the line of, you might have a lower spec computer and you've just all of a sudden gotten this crazy skin for your character, and it makes your FPS frame rate fucking drop. And there's no way to refund anything on PoE either.
Performance issues are shocking in PoE, man. I remember my last PC couldn't run it. My CPU wasn't strong enough to run it, man.
Really?
Yeah. Shit. Yeah. It was not enjoying it.
Fucking brutal.
Well,
look, Grizz, that kind of covers everything in this kind of blog post. I guess
Yeah.
overall, just like at a glance, I think it looks pretty good to me. I think they're doing a pretty decent job of, you know, delivering what I would expect Blizzard to be telling me about their monetization and being fairly transparent about that. What that looks like when it finally gets released, who fucking knows? But I think the content and the idea of the meta changing each season and whatnot, I really hope they do a good job of it, kind of in a Destiny 2 style way of, because I mean, they're going to be having people buy a new season pass every season.
Yep.
It's quarterly, obviously.
Yep.
Hopefully they have enough content to make that refreshing and appealing, and hopefully the actual meta of the game when it comes to the characters and their abilities and stuff, and they refreshing that. Hopefully that feels rewarding every time they do that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now, when it
I
comes
definitely agree with you, Cap. And just to add to kind of what you're saying, I feel like, there once was a time where Blizzard were the golden child of action RPGs. We had
Once
Warcraft.
upon a time.
Once upon a time, we had Warcraft 3 and we had Diablo 2 and Diablo 1 under that banner. And then I feel like they really shot down their golden boy image with Diablo Immortal. And I honestly feel like that this is actually going to be a decent game from them. And I think they're going to stick to this blog post. And I bloody hope they do, Kat, because so far we've seen, no pay to win, cosmetics in the shop only, monetized through a seasonal pass, ongoing updated content. Sounds fantastic for a Diablo game from me. So positive, I think. And I think they might well be trying to earn a bit of favor back from the people that they once had that
well, I mean, with all the sexual abuse allegations that were going on in that company too, fuck, mate, they better pull their fucking finger out and get their shit together. And hopefully Diablo 4's a step in the right direction. So anyways, there you fucking go. Now, Grizz, the next story we wanted to talk about was
hell yeah, baby,
an interesting little thing that popped up on our news feeds. A fan discovered a 20-year-old secret in a game. Now, that secret was a hidden two-player mode in Super Punch-Out for the Super Nintendo system. Again, a 20-year-old game, dude, which is fucking nuts.
So nuts, man. So nuts.
So what basically happened is they were doing some request work and basically, which I guess is someone just asking you to do something, modding the game or some shit. And they discovered some unknown cheat codes, which basically allowed players to manually select the AI, which effectively is a two-player game mode, which is very, very freaking radical, Grizz. Did you ever play Super Punch-Out?
Dude, I did. I did back in the day, mate. But it's been I haven't touched it since kids. So, but I remember it. Like if you can't picture this, it's the one where you just see your fists and you see your opponent kind of standing in front of you.
Yeah, boxing game.
Boxing game. And has it got who are some of the boxers in there, Kat? Like,
was Mike Tyson in this one?
I think so, mate. Potentially, I would have to have a look.
Vaguely, he was in one of the Punch-Out games, right?
Kat, let me talk you through how you actually put the sequence in, because it's pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts what you actually have to do this. Yeah. So when you're selecting a fighter of your choice, it will bring up the details page where you can put in a sequence. So you hold down the controller 2's B and Y buttons, followed by pressing A and start on controller 1. And this allows the second controller to control the opponents, which are normally CPU driven, and allows them to collect it that way. So
crazy shit.
Crazy. So it's like
crazy that it hasn't been discovered.
Oh, exactly, mate. You got to use,
or even shared by the developers. You know what I mean? Like, even the devs haven't been. Like, hey,
well, they say that this is potentially was used as like a debug, to discover and fix errors in the game by playing the opponents. But they also see that potentially it was going to be able to implement two-player mode down the road, which never got used. So that's crazy.
And there's a lot of games with that. I mean, I believe the multiplayer for GoldenEye almost didn't even ship. They just kind of chucked it in the last minute and went, "Oh, this is pretty cool." Which
proximity
is
mode
crazy to think.
Dude,
imagine if GoldenEye didn't ship with multiplayer mode. I feel like that would not have been the game,
was a
Just-
win for the
it was
franchise.
when it was, you know.
No
Yeah.
odd job, Cap. That was the one
Oh,
rule
dude.
that we played. No fucking
No
odd job.
Yeah, no, yeah. Fucking what a character! Such a fucking legend. But Straight Jacket Jim in chat is just correcting us. Mike Tyson had his own Punch Out game.
Oh,
I couldn't
well, there
remember
you
that,
go.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
that actually makes a lot more sense in my mind. But
Mike
Grizz,
Tyson
basically,
Punch-Out.
yeah, Mike Tyson Punch Out. It's ringing a bell now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, so this particular story, Grizz, kind of prodded me to wonder,
Mhm.
you know, if you had any sort of secret game modes that you kind of fresh in your mind that you kind of appreciated as a kid, or
Yeah.
these days having heard about it secondhand or whatever.
I
So-
went and looked up a bunch here. I don't know whether you wanted to go first with your lot, Cap. So I guess some of mine
Yeah.
aren't really secret modes, but secret things that are in games that are like
Yep.
either really fucking hard to achieve and do that
Yep.
would unlock something.
Yeah. Well, I've got a few here that are sort of my off the top of my head fave things that I can think of.
Awesome.
So,
Yep.
Super Smash Brothers Melee on GameCube. Now, similar kind of thing. I think this was left in as a debug mode, but you could basically play as the Master Hand, which was the big boss enemy in the Melee game, and you'd fight it at the end of your story mode battles. And basically, what you had to do is you had to do this weird thing where in the character select mode, before you choose a stage, you'd have to kind of try and set your character up in a way where it was almost like you didn't select a character before you went into a map. And so what happens is when you go into the game, it looks up the IDs of all the characters that are available and gets the first ID of the first character. Now, the Master Hand's completely unselectable, but that's the very first ID in the game for characters that you can select.
No.
Yeah,
And you can play
so
as
you
the
can
Master
play as the
Hand.
Master Hand.
Really?
But
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's really fucking
That's
rad.
cool,
So
dude.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it was a debug thing, or it's like a buggy. It's more of a bug thing, really. But you could kind of fuck with the game to not select a character, and it would just give you the first ID. So that's one of them. Now the other one is, you ever play Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Grizz?
You know what? I never did, but I did watch Shrikelet, one of the local blokes around here, streaming it. And it looks right up my alley, mate. That was like the first one of the first Metroidvania kind of.
Yeah.
Hence the name, right?
Now I played this as a young bloke a long, long time ago, so I don't remember it very well, but I definitely know that I did not do this in the game. So apparently what you could do, well, you can, it's not even apparently, this is actually what happens in the game. So you can perform this long-winded way of getting the true ending of the game, which is not particularly well, if at all, discussed in the game's kind of story content. So basically what you do is you go and get these two a gold and a silver ring from two optional bosses in the game, which would then unlock a secret chamber where you would receive some glasses. Now, when you had the glasses, if you fought the final boss with the glasses equipped, you would see an orb that was following Richter, the final boss. Now, if you destroyed that final that orb that was following the final boss rather than defeating the final boss, it would then flip the entire castle upside down, and then you would then go and fight more bosses back again in the whole game.
No.
And you go through the castle backwards, basically, because it was all inverted. Now, you would then go and fight 5 extra bosses, all of which would then drop relics of Dracula, you know, his heart and all these other things. And that would then unlock the final true boss, which was Dracula himself. And then once you fought Dracula, you then unlocked Richter as a secret character.
Dude, that is sick.
Yeah, nutty. Now, I've got two quick ones, two other ones. Final Fantasy 4, 6, and I'm pretty sure 9. You could play 2-player mode for the battles. So what would happen is it would, every time you go into a battle, if you had 2 controllers in the Super Nintendo or the PlayStation 1, it would split the party into 2 halves. And whenever the ATB gorge would fill, if it was one of your characters, you could then select the attacks and stuff for that particular character. Or if it was the other person, then they'd select yours. And then elsewhere in the game, when you're running around in the open world or you're doing cutscenes and stuff, player 1 would basically do everything else. So I thought that was pretty cool because, you know, traditionally a single player game, but you could kind of play it 2-player.
Never knew that.
Now, the final one, the fucking, I reckon this is the icing on the cake, personally. Banjo-Tooie, which was the second game after Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah.
So there was a game mode that was supposedly supposed to ship with the game, but never did. Now, that game mode was called Bottle's Revenge. And so it was basically, you can't access it in the regular game, but if you have an emulator or you use a Game Shark, you can basically unlock this special Bottle's Revenge mode. And what happens is the little spirit ghost of the mole man, player 2 gets to use that spirit to inhabit creatures within the world. And you use those creatures to fight Banjo. And if player 2 manages to defeat Banjo whilst you're playing along, then the roles swap around, and then the other person becomes Banjo, and the other person can inhabit the enemies.
Okay.
And so you keep doing this kind of tug of war thing, which I thought was really fucking cool. Because I mean, back in my day, a lot of single player games, you kind of would take turns with your brother or whatever, and then oh, you've fucking been playing too long or whatever. So it was kind of like a good way for you both to play this single player game if it did eventually ship. But yeah, so anyways, apparently you were supposed to be able to do bosses and stuff, but they never shipped it with that. And yeah, it was never fully debugged or anything, so it never shipped with the final game. But anyways, those are my secret
Crackers,
game mode,
Love
interesting ones.
Now, I want to say something here before I go into mine, Cap, and that is simply that when I was a youngster, much like you, there was no internet, and a lot of things that might be free now because you can Google them, the things that we discovered, much like the cow level in Diablo 1, were legitimate surprises. So that is actually my first one. The cow level in Diablo 1, what you needed to do is you needed to go and grab Wirt's leg, which he would only die after a certain progression through the game, and you'd pick that up and you would combine that with a Tome of Town portal to get to the cow level. So back at we didn't have internet, Caps, so you couldn't look this up. I remember just someone randomly telling me this one time, and I was like, yeah, that's not true. Like, bullshit. There's no way. Yeah, bullshit.
It was kind of like these like lost fables that you'd hear about. And you know, you go and buy those little cheat books from like the local deli or the newsagent.
Yeah.
You know, it's just crazy shit. Like the internet has basically like removed that idea of natural discovery completely.
Well, the first two that I want to talk about are both in Super Mario Brothers 3, and both of these things happened to me without me knowing how I'd done it as a kid multiple times when I was playing through the game. Now, if you are a retro gamer and you still play Super Mario Brothers 3, you might not have heard about these things because they are reasonably obscure. The first one is the appearance of a white mushroom house, Cap. So the white mushroom house will only appear if you finish a certain level in a certain world with a certain number of coins, and you're in a certain state, and then it will just pop up. And it has like end game items like the cloud or a P thing. So I remember getting this in World 1 once and just being like, I just couldn't explain what it is. The other one is the same thing. It's a treasure ship, dude. Have you ever seen a treasure ship in Super Mario Brothers 3? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No. Yeah.
So you know how when you fight the end of world bosses and if you die
go
to them,
on the ship.
The ship will fly around the world that you're in, and you have to go backtrack and get in it. So this is essentially like one of those just popping up out of the blue when you haven't fought a boss. And if you go on the ship, it is a ship full of coins. So it's just like you get like 15, 16 lives from collecting all the coins. But it's the same thing. They only appear, the treasure ships only appear in worlds 1, 3, 5, and 6, and they only appear when you collect a certain number of coins on certain levels. Now, how intricate is this, mate? So you need to beat a level with coins that are a multiple of 11 with the tens digit of the score matching the multiple. So it's like super fucking involved to get these things to spawn, mate.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Anyway,
that's nuts.
Old game.
Very cool.
So that's my first two. The third one, Cap, I'll be real quick, is Super Mario World, mate. And I mean, people know that this is a thing already, but you know how you have the special worlds that you can go and do, which basically, I mean, if you didn't have a guide, they're quite hard to find to get there. But you may not have realized that if you fully complete the special world, all of the sprites in the game will change. So have you seen that happen before? You might have seen it, but not realized. Yeah, so the Koopas turn into, they have little Mario heads on the Koopas once you fully clear special world.
That's kind of cool. I don't think I ever knew that.
Yeah, and the piranha plants turn into little pumpkin heads, little pumpkin things. The piranha plants come out of the pipes. They turn into these little pumpkin heads. Yeah.
Holy shit.
So that special world is supposed to be some of the hardest content in the game, but There you go.
Wow.
So if you can
Oh,
beat that,
dude.
you get that little surprise as well.
That is nuts.
The last one from me, Cap, is kind of like you had in your last one. It requires you to put a code in to glitch the game, essentially to glitch through some walls. But I thought this was really interesting, mate. So there is a room in Link to the Past, and it's called the Chris Houlihan room. And in short, Nintendo held a contest before the release of Link to the Past, where the winner would have their name appear somewhere in their future game. So there's a secret room. Basically, if you choose to start from the sanctuary, you need to activate a walk through walls cheat code and walk through the door to the south. And if you succeed, you'll end up in a room. Basically, it's full of blue rupees with a message box that has a little message with this guy's name in it, which is pretty
That's
cool.
kind of cool.
Yeah,
that's really rad. And so they did that as like a little marketing thing, just to be like,
could you imagine if like a dev did that now? Like a Nintendo.
Dude, I wonder how long it took them to find that fucking room.
Yeah, who knows, mate?
Must have taken them ages. And as the winner, you'd be like, where the fuck is my room? On my thing. Like, you know, like, and I love the name as well. The Chris Houlihan room. What a classic name. Love it. Love it. Oh, those are freaking rad, Grizz. I'm glad we did that little segment.
Yeah,
you
dude,
know?
love
I think
that
a lot of really interesting shit that gets shoehorned, or you know, debug modes and stuff that get left in games that people discover. I mean, like the Super Punch Out thing. Very, very freaking cool. Now, speaking of very, very freaking cool, Grizz, Cult of the Lamb, Australian indie game extravaganza is going nuts. Nutso.
Yeah, they're killing it, mate. They're killing it.
Yep.
Did you see them on the project, Cap? Did you see that?
I did actually. I only saw. So the project is a news thing here in Australia. It's kind of like I don't know. It's like your 7 p.m. news that you might get. It's kind of a little bit more. How would you describe the project, Grizz? It's not quite like your 7 p.m. report or anything. It's kind of a little more casual, and you know, it's got a board of commenters on the board.
They get comedian. They get like
stories.
a couple of comedians and then a couple of serious people presenting the news. Yeah, it's more of like a. I don't know. You know what, Cap? I would more say it's kind of like a modern take on news, where it's it's a mix. It's a mixture of telling serious news, but with maybe some jokes and
bit of a laugh in there.
Yeah.
But they actually went through the success of Cult of the Lamb, which was really cool and really good for, I guess, just the visibility of Australian game development and just, I guess, games in general, and just kind of being like, hey, like there's this huge side thing going on that's making a lot of money for people and is, you know, widely respected for as a career option and people utilizing it in their day to day. I just thought it was good. I don't know. I didn't see whether they kind of
it was a little bit cringe. It was Waleed doing the interview.
Okay.
A little bit, like Pab's kind of saying in chat that he cringed a bit. But yeah, just the kind of questions, because I don't know, it was kind of like he was asking him.
You're
about,
a lamb with a cult.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
He goes,
I can only imagine.
So what was your like inspiration behind this game? Did you want to start a cult in the real world? And it's just kind of like a little bit, you know? A little bit funny, man.
Yeah, it's kind of like your dad asking questions about, like, you know, what you're doing at school and stuff. You know, it's just okay. But look, so it kind of seems like these guys are kicking ass though, like in a big way. So I do believe I saw a tweet saying that they had reached 1 million users. They have hit
sales.
the US top of the Switch chart. Steam
that's huge
has
too, isn't it?
hundreds of thousands. Yeah, dude, big time. Steam has hundreds of thousands of players. So I'm guessing that the million player thing is kind of an aggregated score, which is still massive. I mean, you know, so considering the game's $30, Grizz, like that's $30 million there. If you assume that you're going to get direct return for investment, maybe take away profits, it's probably like I don't know, 15 to 20 million bucks or some shit like that. But
now, Kat, we've talked about this before, and it is a fantastic game. But I would love to know your thoughts on how important you think Devolver Digital was in getting this out to people.
Massively.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
I think when it comes to indie games and indie game marketing, Devolver is massive. But the thing is, Grizz, Devolver only puts their names to certain products, right? So I think the product is is incredibly good. I want to talk a little bit about my thoughts about Cult of the Lamb since I've given it more time. But I think the game itself is a really great indie title. I think they do a really fucking good job of what they've done. So, but when it comes to Devolver, they definitely pick and choose. Well, this is how I always wonder how this happens in terms of how do they get these clients right and how they merge with these certain studios to market these games. Does Devolver hit them up or is it the other way around?
Yeah.
You know, so I do wonder
want to
how
know
that.
too.
Yeah.
Interesting. We should try to get fucking someone from Devolver in here, mate. I wonder if they'd come talk to us.
Yeah, or we could talk to maybe we'll reach out to the guys who made Cult of the Lamb. Maybe they'll talk to us. I don't know. They might not talk to a little Aussie podcast like us. You know,
I'm gonna clip this and send it through. Devolver Digital or Cult of the Lamb, if you would like to come on and be
Massive
a guest
Monster.
Podcast. Massive Monster, we would love to have you on. I'm gonna clip it and send it and see how we go.
Would love to know more about the business. But yeah. Yeah, I just think it's been huge for them. Absolutely. But I mean, I think it's the same. Like, you know, obviously, like I said, Devolver only puts their names to, you know, great indie titles. And I think Cult of the Lamb kind of fit the bill. And yeah, I mean, reading this news article story, I mean, they've got 8,000 positive Steam reviews. And, you know, they went and did it in this news article, Grizz. They said that it's becoming a cult classic. Oh God. But Grizz, have you played a little bit more Cult of the Lamb recently?
No, I haven't. I moved over to Warhammer, mate.
Classic.
Classic. I don't know. I want to play it on stream, mate, and I've been too fucking busy to get on the old Twitch stream. So
makes sense because of the Twitch integration.
Yeah, I'll get on there. I will definitely jump back into it. But have you, Cap? Have you progressed anything any further?
Look, I have, and I'm in the third area. So I've defeated 2 mainline bosses. So this is my. Again, I'm going to preface this with I've really enjoyed my time with this game so far. These are the things that I would change. And probably the only thing I'd really change is I feel like when you go and do the roguelite hack and slash portion of the game, I feel like I want to get it over and done with quickly because I need to go back to my cult because my fucking cult members are starving. Yeah. Or my cult members need to have their shit cleaned up, or you know whatever it is.
Old mate's bed's broken, can't go to sleep, and it's night.
And I feel like I'm having to be pulled out of this really cool little experience because of that other part of the game, which is fine. It's fine, but I really do feel like it kind of detracts from that portion of the game. Now, the other issue is that portion of the game. Maybe that does work in its favor a little bit because I feel like they could do more to flesh that out a little bit better. I also feel like the difficulty, I am playing on normal, but I do hear that hard's not particularly too difficult either. And to progress the game, there's no real big incentive because once you hit certain points in those main areas, you can kind of continue beyond the bosses to keep trying to push the run further and further. But there's really no incentive to do that when you are you need to go back to your cult and sort your fucking cult out, or you know, and also again, the difficulty doesn't feel that bad. So you're kind of just smashing out this stuff over and over again, just as a necessity, unfortunately. And it kind of detracts away from that part of the game for me, which I find a little bit sad. But I hope in time they can update that and probably make it a little bit more I don't know. I mean, they definitely got the money to update it now, right? So maybe they can.
It'd be interesting. They did say there was going to be continued support coming on, and that was definitely I 100% agree. From what I played, Cap, I'd love to have like a dedicated mode where maybe time stops when you're in the roguelite bit, if you can choose that. But also, Cap, the difficulty thing was strange. I actually put mine on extra hard. And I still wasn't dying in it. I think I died once or something like that on one of the bosses. But But they need to make some kind of risk reward thing. So actually reward the player for playing on a harder difficulty. Do you get better loot or kind of scale it?
Because I don't know if there is anything. Is there? I mean,
I don't think so.
Yeah,
it's an experience. But fine, such a good game.
Yeah, very very good game. They've done a great job and. Easy for me to go and support an Aussie developer as well. Obviously.
The beautiful thing is, Cap, as well about this game is that now that they have made a shitload of money, I'm sure, much like Stardew Valley has, it's just going to continue to pump content updates for that said game. Stardew Valley is a fucking fantastic example of that. That game came out and it had one farm you could choose from. And I don't believe it was on console at that stage. And then, now there's like 5 different farms. You can play co-op. There's heaps of new plants. There's new relationships and all these different bits and pieces that they've done to bring out new stuff. So,
yeah, dude, it's crazy. Absolutely fucking crazy.
We'll see.
But yeah, so really, really, really rad that they're doing really well. Now, Grizz, we kind of we went pretty over time on the old Diablo 4 talk. So there's going to be a couple of things going to miss out on today. We'll talk about the Nexus mod controversy next week, and we'll also do a little bit of a deep dive. Well, a dive into Black Myth Wukong and the gameplay trailer that was released this week.
Mm-hmm.
But what we will quickly cover, Grizz, Embracer Group. They have continued to expand their intellectual property empire, and they have acquired the publishing rights for video games and movies for The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
Video games and movies.
Yes.
So what does this mean for us, Cap? What does this mean? Is this are these the guys that are making fucking Gollum, or is this some other mob?
No, they're not actually. I can't remember who's making Gollum, but basically these guys own the rights now forward. I assume that it does not include outstanding stuff. I mean, we've got the Ring of Power that is kind of being headed by Amazon, and they also had, Gollum that's obviously in development as well. So I'm guessing that those aren't included in this buyout for obvious reasons because they're owned by someone else. But yeah, so they basically bought this and a bunch of other shit as well, which we'll get to in a second.
Cap, did you ever play the Lord of the Rings MMO that came out, mate?
No, I didn't. Was it any good?
Yeah, I loved it, dude. Well, because it was just cool. I was a hobbit and I was like fucking gallivanting through Middle Earth, and it was just cool, mate. Like,
they actually had content updates for that game quite late into its development life cycle, to the point where it was like, oh, how is this game still alive?
Is that right? Yeah. It didn't have anything that kept me playing it. Like, it was pretty much a nothing game. But I wonder whether this will, I don't know, is this going to give them some more, to make some better games?
I suppose we'll see. I mean, we've also got that Valheim-like game that's kind of being made in the Lord of the Rings setting that's going to be like the Mines of Moria, but Valheim. So there's a few other kind of Lord of the Rings IPs that obviously aren't being owned by Embracer Group. But for those at home who are kind of not familiar with Embracer Group, these guys recently, they kind of seem to be just collecting all these game studios that people don't seem to want. So Square Enix shed a bunch of Western studios, and of those studios were these studios that create Tomb Raider and Duke Nukem, for example.
Okay.
So they've been picking up all these different game studios. Now, obviously, they've picked up the rights to the Lord of the Rings. So moving forward, they'll be able to create sort of Lord of the Rings-esque style games with their huge fucking army of developers that they're slowly picking up. Now, they bought a bunch of other development studios during kind of this slew of acquisitions. Bitwave Games, which I wasn't too familiar with. Limited Run Games, which I've heard of, but I wasn't too familiar with either. Tuxedo Labs. Now, I can't remember exactly what Tuxedo Labs did, but they did. Where are we? They're working on some bits and pieces. Oh, this is a different game. Okay, that's not the one I'm thinking of. Tuxedo Labs were another one, and then Tripwire Interactive. Now, this is the one that I'm interested in, Chris, because Tripwire Interactive are the guys who did Killing Floor and Chivalry.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. So they
Killing
picked up a bunch of shit.
Chivalry.
Recently. Yeah,
right. Doesn't sound like they're going to be making another Lord of the Rings MMO anytime soon, Cap.
What if they did a Lord of the Rings Killing Floor style game?
That'd be sick.
That would be fucking sick. Imagine being,
sick,
at the Two Towers, and you just have endless onslaught waves of,
a Lord of the Rings Horde mode game would be fucking awesome, man. I reckon.
Yeah, that would be dope.
It'd be so good.
So I don't know. That's the kind of thing I'm hoping for personally.
It would totally work. Like,
absolutely, they could do the Mines of
those...
Moria. They could do the Two Towers. They could do all kinds of shit. Heaps of maps they could do.
Imagine like a Vermintide style Lord of the Rings game. That'd also be quite good. Anyway.
Yep, with like chivalry combat, dude. I'm telling you, the idea is right there. And maybe they've already thought about it. But Grizz, so that's the interesting shit that's going on with Embracer Group. Now, we did do a poll this week, but we kind of mixed up the what do you call it? The format a little bit this week, just because we thought, why not? So we kind of wanted to know what people were interested in terms of the next Diablo 4 classes. What do people want to play, you know? So there's a bunch of classes, Grizz. So do you want to go through what options we had?
Yep, I sure can. Okay, so the question was, I'm just navigating to the poll. Right. Reply to this tweet with a GIF or set of emojis representing the Diablo 4 class you're most excited to play. Get creative. Druid, Barbarian, Necromancer, Rogue, or Sorceress. What did you go, Capo?
Mate, I really want to play the Necromancer.
Yeah?
Looks
Necromancer.
fucking baller.
Have you played Necromancer in Diablo 3, Cap?
No.
No.
I did play it in Immortal or Immoral.
Yep.
And it was good fun. Like the whole idea of kind of like generating corpses and then using those corpses to power your attacks and stuff, I think is really fucking cool. Also, I'm pretty sure that particular class is going to be the one that does that big wave of blood, which just looks so baller.
Yeah.
So I'm very cool.
Yep.
But Grizz, what about you?
Well, I'm a barbarian. My Diablo, I usually play a barbarian, Cap. I usually like to play a barbarian that can throw heavy rocks at people. Is the usual one that I select. So I did I think did I do a Conan or something? Or someone had already done one of Conan, which was a good friend Blue Streak. Had Conan the Barbarian, clearly a intellectual.
Yes, an intellectual.
Yes,
a class that's typically not known for its intellect.
Yes,
an intellectual.
You don't want to play the character that you are in real life, Cap. You want to play someone that's not like you. So the intellectual.
It's all a big role play, is it?
Yeah, that's exactly right, man.
I love it. But yeah, there was a bunch of other things. Pav selected the Bard class, which didn't exist apart from outside this weird thing.
It's like, love it.
Anyway. But yeah, so well done to everyone that participated. Spork, obviously very keen on the Druid. Posting a gif of a bear. I assume that was in relation to saying that she would like to play a druid, which was very cool. So thanks to everyone for participating in the poll this week. As always, we do them weekly. So keep an eye out for subsequent weeks. Now, Grizz, let's get stuck in to the weekly quickfire round, baby. Okay. This is quickfire news. We're going to be talking about a bunch of shit that didn't make it into the main show. And we'll just quickly go through bits and pieces. Foghorns, etc. Now, Grizz, first item on the quickfire. Wolcen, it's not old. It was kind of an action RPG similar to Diablo. Was kind of the whole shtick of this particular game.
Heap of fucking copies in pre-release before the game was released, and then it released, and it was like a fucking steaming. Well, actually, it looked good, but it was just like you say, Cap, was unbalanced, and half the skills didn't work. So
yeah. Well, Grizz, these guys, the Wolcen studio, are having insane issues with staff retention and turnover. This particular article is saying that LinkedIn data is suggesting that 32 employees left Wolcen Studio, including all senior and director positions, which is pretty fucking crazy. So a 50 employee turnover, basically, which is nuts. So
the number of people surprised me, Cap, in that dev team, to be honest, for one game like that. Like, that seems like quite a lot of people, do you reckon? Or what are your thoughts for one game?
Depends on the amount of money they made, I suppose, Grizz. Like, and I mean, Wolcen didn't seem to do particularly well post-launch, so a lot of people are citing that it sounds like they have a pretty poor,
I don't think it's
bit of a toxic kind of workplace. I think the best thing I saw on this commented was 32 employees. That's more than the player base. I can got them. Yeah, so fucking excellent.
Cap, the next
Love
one,
it.
I'm surprised you put this in because I was just taking the piss by including this, but I'm going to read it out anyway. Grizzly makes it big time and gets offered $50 by Streamlabs to pay Fortnite.
Now, I did include it, Grizz, because like it's
Yeah.
obviously tying in with the new Dragon Ball Z release of Fortnite.
Yeah, the Dragon Ball Z release and
collab.
Actually, I think if I had been streaming, I totally would have taken them up on this offer.
Yep.
Basically, all I had to do was play 8 hours worth of gameplay across a week, split between a minimum of 2 streams, and they would have forked out the $50. But yes, this was to show off the new, which we have seen some footage and bits and pieces. We posted something in our little Facebook thread between Cap, Pav, and I, and you saw the Kamehamehas across the Fortnite battlefield and bits and pieces.
It actually looked pretty good, like considering, dude. I think they did a reasonable job of integrating that, and it just looks wacky.
So overpowered, man, doesn't it? Like the Kamehameha thing just looks nuts.
Yeah. So obviously, it sounds like Fortnite are doing a kind of streamer bounty system thing on. What is it, Streamlabs or Twitch or some shit?
Streamlabs, yeah. I get sent emails quite often. Most of them are that. What's that one that people play, Cap, on stream with you place your units and Stream Raiders? Most of them are Stream Raiders. Dude, you can earn like decent money for Stream Raiders, but you need to get minimum people signing up anyway. There you go. Yes, sponsorship.
Yeah, very
Fortnite
interesting.
Sponsorship, mate. I'm sponsored by Fortnite, Cap. Did you know that?
$50 Fortnite sponsorship. Dude, that is $6.25 an hour, Grizz. That's big money.
Huge bucks, mate.
That's going to be less than minimum wage. Well, that's much less than minimum wage.
Absolutely.
Anyways, all right, moving on, Grizz. Live action Pac-Man movie is coming. It's happening. It's been confirmed. We don't know much more than the fact that it's happening. What does that movie look like, Grizz? Probably, I have no fucking idea.
We haven't seen any footage. You can't see any footage. That's it.
How the hell do you make a live action movie about a little yellow circle that gets chased by ghosts?
I wonder if someone falls into a Pac-Man machine or something and then meets Pac-Man and stuff, I don't know.
If you're going to do it, you just have to go fucking crazy, don't you? Like, you'd have to do something like that. And maybe it's, I don't know. They do actually go.
Have you seen Tron, Pat? Have you seen Tron?
Yeah. I suppose I could do that.
Maybe something like that, similar. I actually really like that movie. The soundtrack is a banger as well. They got who were the fucking robot DJs, Cat?
What do you call them? Oh shit! How can I? Daft Punk.
Daft Punk, yeah. Daft Punk did all the stuff in that. It was great.
Yeah,
good movie.
Very rad. But yeah, so live action coming soon. Now,
okay. Cap, Elden Ring has sold just under 17 million copies in 6 months, which is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
there's a lot of copies,
control.
Mate.
Yeah, so it's still not up there with some of the craziest game sales of all time. Like I think Minecraft has done something like 300 million or something ridiculous. But 16.6 million for a game that its subject matter probably doesn't really suit all ages and all walks of life. I think 16.6 million is actually nuts.
Well, dude, freaking Minecraft is in the school curricula now. My kids get given assignments to do stuff in Minecraft.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's like educational Minecraft. And I assume that they would be good. So it's like an example is my daughter got this one. It was like, so this house has 3 kids and a dog. The boy likes the color blue, the girl, and it was like whatever else. And she had to build this house that had all the different bits in this, like, read That's the statement and make the house to the thing.
That's really cool. There's a game like that. Oh god, what do you call that? Dragon Quest Builders game is kind of like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of Minecraft-esque. It was their kind of take on the Minecraft formula, but it was a lot more geared towards, like, you'd find villages and they'd say, "Oh, I need a house built, and I have 2 kids, and I want a stove out the front," and so you'd have to go and build this template that would then. And it was actually a cool little game. Anyways, I'm going completely off track. Grizz, next. Guild Wars 2 is coming to Steam, which I'm surprised that Guild Wars 2 is still going. I think obviously in a post Blizzard turning out to be a gigantic piece of shit world, the world that we live in. I think MMOs like Guild Wars probably picked up a few new subscribers as people migrated. But
so can you play it? Is it free to play? Cap subscription service, isn't it?
No, I think you have to buy it out. No, it is. No, so Guild Wars was always the game that didn't have a subscription. That was the whole thing behind it. The original Guild Wars, no subscription involved. You just buy the game, and then I believe you could buy the expansions as they released. Guild Wars 2 followed the same structure, which was quite groundbreaking for an MMO, because a lot of MMOs had recurring subs and fees. So so this game you buy once outright, and then you're ready to go. So, quite interesting that it's coming to Steam. I think it's going to be a really good move for it to maybe sell a few more copies and get some more players influxing on there. I know when Destiny 2 did it, they had quite a big influx of players come through.
Did they? Well, dude, I'll play it. Well, I won't play it, but I think if I was going to play it, I'd want it on Steam for sure.
Yep, me too. Yep. Just like all my other games.
All right, Cap. So, did you know Death Stranding is coming to the Xbox Game Pass, mate?
Yeah, which I think is quite interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Because obviously, the Death Stranding, produced by legendary video game developer, designer Hideo Kojima, creator of the Metal Gear Solid series. Now, why I find this so interesting, Grizz, is because traditionally Kojima has had a very, very strong relationship with PlayStation. So now to be on the Xbox Game Pass, I can only imagine how much money Xbox is funneling into his fucking pocket.
Couple of bucks,
so I thought that was quite interesting. Thought it was very interesting. So we did talk about last week the rumor that Sony was paying developers not to be on Game Pass. Clearly couldn't pay enough to Kojima to keep it off Game Pass.
So couldn't give a shit.
Fuck knows how much they offered him, mate. Oh my God, it must be astronomical. Anyways, moving along. Now, Grizz, Steam is looking to create a year in review page. Now, someone found the API that you can use to make calls to get this data. Looks like in the next winter sale, they'll have a page that shows you all your stats for that year of playtime.
Question. Do you really want to know your fucking annual playtime that you spend playing video games?
Nope, absolutely not.
Neither do I, dude. I can keep that shit to yourself.
That's time I could have been using to create the next Facebook app and actually make money for my family.
There is a webpage you can go to, Cap, to see how much money you've spent through Steam.
Oh, man. God.
And definitely don't go look at that, because
we might do that next week, Grizz.
We might. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
We'll see how much our Steam's worth.
Yep. Yeah, you can also check your Steam worth. My Steam is actually worth quite a bit. I got a few dollars in Dota 2 items, but
$3.
Yeah, a couple of bucks.
Oh, very fucking cool. All right,
but
next one.
We'll say this real quick, Cap, that what your Steam is worth and how much you've spent through Steam is two completely different
I bet they're not the same.
Yeah. Right, where are we? Black Adam and Stripe to be joining the multiverse lineup, Cap.
Yep, so Multiverses being the Super Smash Brothers like fighting game from Warner Brothers that incorporates literally every Warner Brothers potential title that they own. Now, I know what you're going to ask, and Pav's already asked it. Who the hell is Stripe? Now, Stripe is the gremlin from the Gremlins.
Oh, I'm looking at a picture of him. Yeah.
Or the gremlin.
Clearly. Yeah.
So
what happens if he gets water on him, Cap? He's fucking done.
Don't know. He's one and done. He basically, so you can see how deep they're digging into the barrel of Warner Brother intellectual properties, like including shit like this. It's actually kind of nuts. Like, I feel like the next couple of heroes that we might get from the multiverses kind of things is going to like kind of have a few throwback kind of nostalgic, like, holy shit, they're including that. Like, I really feel like Stripe as a character kind of threw me off a little bit. I was just like, what the fuck? Holy shit. But yeah, anyways, all right. Black Adam, who is a DC hero, I believe, which again is Warner Brothers. So there you fucking go. Now, Grizz, GeForce Now, the cloud service where you can stream games, and I'm talking like PC games to your browser. It's now going to be boasting 120 FPS and 1440p streaming, which is kind of nuts.
Not here in Australia, it won't, Cap.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't know
good
that for
point.
sure.
Oh, actually,
But
no, I
they're
think you can get it. You can get it through Pentanet.
can you? Okay. Dang. That's
I
pretty
believe
good,
so.
man. That's like higher than what my monitors are going to allow me to do through cloud.
Yeah, well, I vaguely remember reading this that it's probably coming to the premium tier of this service, so just don't get the premium tier, Grizz. There you go.
Okay.
All right, Grizz, next one.
Problem solved, sir. Toys for Bob teases new game. Maybe a Spyro or Crash? Question mark, Cap.
Yeah, so Toys for Bob are the guys who own the Spyro and Crash series, and yeah, they released a Twitter tweet, basically had like their Toys for Bob wall of fame with all the games that they've produced between since they started and when they kind of ended. So games like Star Control and can you remember Pandemonium, Grizz?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a PlayStation weird game. They've
That's
done a lot
right.
of other stuff. Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam. I never heard of that one. They're best known for their Skylanders stuff, Grizz, and Spyro Reignited Trilogy and Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time. So 18, what's coming? Who knows? We don't know for sure, but those are some of the IPs that they do own. Maybe it's going to be Pandemonium fucking 3. Who knows? Probably not. I don't think anyone has asked for that. But yeah, so there you go.
Well, there you go, man.
Last one's for me.
Jump in there, son.
So, Grizz, Pokemon-like game Temtem has released its first 1.0 release features trailer.
Oh, yeah. Gee, it looks very Pokemon-like, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit more. It's got its own kind of style going on, but it's definitely very Pokemon. It's also getting its own physical release on the Switch, Grizz, which I thought was quite cool.
Okay. Cool.
And it's quite funny seeing Temtem lined up at EB Games next to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet as competing titles. But
how is this received, Cap? Are people kind of looking forward to this, or is it like a Pokemon?
I think so.
spin-off?
I think there are some fairly true fans of this particular game. It was quite big when it first released, but it was still in beta, so I don't think it had as much sticking power as it might do now that it is a fully fledged 1.0 release. But time will tell, Grizz.
Time will tell, sir.
Anyways, and time will tell what happens on the next episode, Grizz, because we are done for the day. We did miss a couple of stories, particularly the Nexus mod controversy that we were going to talk about. And we're going to sort of pick apart the Black Myth Wukong gameplay, but we're going to talk about that next time. So we'll leave that for the next episode.
There you go. That's a little sweetener, guys, in the next episode. That's what we can look forward to. So
we'll touch on those next time. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for being here. Bloody appreciate you listening in your car, whilst you're mowing the lawns, etc. Or if you're watching live from Twitch TV, and you can be doing that live every Monday from 7 p.m. Australian Western Standard Time. We just want to thank everyone hanging out in here in the chat, guys such as Straight Jacket Jim, Sporklin. Who else we got in here? We got Jack Tastrophe, Snippo, Ho and Honey, and a bunch of other legends. Thank you so much for being here. Now, one thing we always ask, obviously, is please tell just one person about this podcast. Just one. Could be your grandma, whatever. We'd really appreciate it. Get the old listens up on the podcast. Get a few more ears on our content, and expand. That'd be great. So if you could just let one more person know about us, that'd be fucking awesome. We'd really appreciate it. Now, as always, if you'd like to continue to support us financially, you can do so and help fund Pav's new computer. You can do that on Patreon. Go and look that up, patreon.com, and then search Oceanic Gaming Radio, and you'll find us on there. You can buy in at the whatever tier you would like to, and we bloody appreciate it. Now, we have a bunch of social media links that you can check out in the description of this podcast or in the Twitch chat right now. Pav's going to be doing the Twitch chat things. Nope, not happening. Don't worry about it. They exist. Look up our link tree. You'll find a Discord link, which you can come and join. You can also find us on Twitter. Go and check out twitter.com/OGR show. You can also vote on our weekly poll on the Twitter. And we've also got something else I'm forgetting. Yeah.
No,
I
you
think
got
that's
it all,
ba-
Cap. I'm sure.
No, I think
mate.
we're good.
You nailed
I
it.
think we got it all. Yeah, no, I'm not
Banged it.
forgetting anything. Yeah, smashed it. So yeah. But anyways, that's basically all from us. I think any closing comments, boys?
All good from me, mate. Another cracker episode. Thanks for hanging out.
Excellent. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here, and we'll catch you next time on the Oceanic Gaming Radio podcast. Appreciate you.
Bye. That's going to be in it for sure, mate. Put that in there.
Too good. Too fucking good. Oh, dude,
Did it catch
I've had a
Chris, you hit one?
cold.
Yep. Yeah, you were okay, Cap? You got a cold, mate.
I've had a cold, and doing that episode was fucking difficult talking for that long, honestly.
Yeah.
My throat is not stoked right now.
Ooh.
Oh, well, mate, you got a week to recover before the next one.
You guys keep talking. I need to quickly do something on my Instagram to see if there's any other issues. You guys want to figure out the episode title.
Oh, yeah.
I think it should be Diablo 4 centric because I feel like that's a
oh, shit, yeah.
good topic.
I think literally just...
G'day, Lee DG. Lee GD. How's it going?
Lee GD. Lee to the G to the D. Yeah. Also, Pav's written down fucking it incorrectly. Lee, Pav has written down your name incorrectly in the spreadsheet. So I said Lee DG when it's Lee GD. Freaking idiot, Pav. You made me look like a dingus.
What happened?
Actually, it might have been me. It might have been me, mate, potentially.
Okay, well, whoever put Lee GD in the Patreon section of the run sheet wrote it incorrectly. And like you said,
I'm Ron
like
Burgundy.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
I don't think it was me.
So I'm sorry,
pretty sure
Lee. I've
that's
been
me.
fucking saying it incorrectly like an idiot. Now, yeah, I think literally maybe something like I think will Diablo 4 be monetized or something like that?
More monetized? No.
Diablo 4 is shit.
How about extra monetization for Diablo 4 question mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stick that in there. Anything else, or do we want to land on that one?
Any other suggestions? Kazi's not here. Kazi's actually on
that's
holiday,
fair, Jim.
guys.
Definitely not going to be everyone's cup of tea. We certainly fucking leaned into it.
Yep.
Oh, I fucking love Diablo 4 chat.
Yeah, so do I.
No.
What do we say again? What do we say?
Jim was more into the secrets behind the old games, mate.
Dude, I thought that was a fucking...
That was a
great
fantastic
topic.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
It was a good topic.
Good. Dr. Disrespect.
All right,
He's done it
Kazi,
again.
Get on holiday, mate. Get out of here.
Gazi.
Jesus.
Yeah. How about Yeah, no.
How about
for a title?
What
Diablo 4, the state of pay. We did that with Diablo Amaro.
That's a throwback.
Diablo 4, the state of pay.
Yeah. I'm easy. Whatever you guys want to do. I'm easy. It needs to be clickbaity.
Yeah.
So you go those clicks, baby. Click,
That's
baby.
all right. We can fucking. Do you need it now? We can probably have a think outside.
Oh, it'd be good to get it now. I reckon
I will need it within the hour, so may as well.
Maybe either that or
Diablo 4 Diablo harder is pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, I like that as well.
Yeah, lock it in.
Yeah.
Lock it in, baby.
Yeah, it's quality.
Yeah, freaking Norsh.
Was that a long episode or not?
We landed on
like an extra 10 minutes or something.
I think we were about an extra 10, so it's not too bad.
No audio glitches, Pav?
None.
Hell yeah. I was just coughing a lot.
I just changed my internet over to wired, so I wasn't sure if it could still be a wired if it's the network, but if there is an audio issue, it will happen within the minute.
Okay.
So let's stay live for an extra minute, and then I know that we're all clear with the laptop.
Right, mate.
Diablo hard. Okay, we sticking to that because that's fucking funny. I like that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Before
I like it.
So good. All right, and that's it. Cap, if you can leave the topic descriptions in the Excel in the sheets.
Yep.
Cool, because I didn't type any of those out. I'll do that shortly.
No worries. I will
Who do you guys want to raid?
Oh yeah,
I removed the ones we didn't cover. Have.
yeah, that's all good.
Good idea. Good idea.
Very cool. Very nice.
Just Cook is streaming, but he has
Let's
like
get it.
900 viewers in there.
I don't think we've done a Juzz raid, have we?
No, he doesn't usually stream this late.
Yeah, let's do it then, because we probably won't get another opportunity.
Yeah,
Okay.
do it. Do it.
Hit it.
Hit it, baby. Am I doing it? Who's doing it?
Does he even? He probably doesn't even have fucking raids
Alerts. He
enabled.
probably doesn't have alerts for raids.
Anyone else logged in? Because I am not logged in. Oh,
Yeah,
here we go.
Hang on.
I am logged in. You got it?
All right, there we go.
I will get the raid message cranking. How's that?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Smoke.
Smoke.
I beat you to it, dingus. I got the raid going and made the fucking message before you did.
Hey, see you Red, see you Lee, see you Ho and Honey. Copy and paste this, guys. Let's fucking
Make sure you post this bad boy in there.
Let's get in there. We're a small raid, but we're gonna be fucking strong.
Hell yeah.
A small but strong raid. We want to see everyone in here posting that shit.
All right, let's hit it.
All right, guys. We'll see you on the other side.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
Bye.
Small raid energy. Small.